So I had so much fun reviewing the original Pteranodon of the Transformers line, I thought I would look at another one. I'm probably not going to start a theme week because I kind of want to crack some blind boxes open on Friday, but I thought let's just do one more just for the sake of showing how far they've come, and we will look at Cybertron Brimstone. How good of a name is Brimstone for a Decepticon? Like, seriously, that's such a menacing title. As we can see, yes, he is a Pteranodon of a very different shape than Swoop. You'll notice a very large head on this particular version, claws that are under the wings for whatever reason, and I double-checked, this is transformation accurate, and a much similar wingspan, actually, now that I think of it. So yes, very different, very, yeah, what can I say? It's very different. We've come a long way. He is cast in a mostly tan plastic and a lot of translucent for the wings that rely on paint for the highlights, which you get a lot of the purple, which also appears there in the crest of the head. And it's kind of an interesting color that they're going with here. There's kind of this metallic yellow going on. It's got kind of a tint of green to it, so it's a little bit toxic looking. And then you have this striping of green along the edge of the wing. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be green or if it was supposed to be the same color as here and the painter missed the mark. Either way, it's a nice little touch to highlight the edge like that. It gives the wings a sharper look. This is the Cybertron series, so heavy molding along the surface is a must. You can see it all throughout the wing, lots of little folds and creases. You can actually see through the wing as well, so it gives you kind of an extra layer of tech detail that you can see on the underside, because it is a very different molding on the underside of the wing. That extends pretty much all over the toy. If you get a close look at the head, you can see some paneling. You can see a lot of little lines and grooves, and in the neck, a little bit of wiring to imitate muscle tissue across the neck. It's a nice little touch. Yeah, there's a few things about it that are going to strike out as a little bit strange, aside from, yes, the head is rather massive. One thing, the head is exposed. You can very clearly see his robot mode head. It does not collapse all that far down, and it doesn't hide away. I do like that at least there's some fins, some blades to the top of the head, so he kind of passes for a little bit of like a spinal thing along the back, but not really. You'll also notice on the underbelly, yeah, the underbelly is pretty strange. Rather than kind of folding up into a block, they opted for this more, I don't know, kind of vertical thing to lump all the parts together, and it doesn't quite work. It gives him this huge sagging but still very thin underbelly look. It's very obviously just his robot mode leg kind of folded up. I do like how the foot does end up as like the tip of the tail, just to give him a little bit more of the silhouette you'd expect. Now, posability in this guy is actually pretty good. You saw me play with the head a little bit. It does rotate here at the base. It can move up and down. Also move up and down at the base of the head. And you also have a mouth that opens up. And you've got teeth molded in and everything. So he does have some posability in the neck and the head, and that's good. Also, two ball joints on the arms, or feet, rather, would let you position these however you want in case you didn't actually want a Pteranodon with legs under his feet. It's a weird design choice, I admit. You can fold them back to something a little bit more natural, something that's a little bit what you would expect from a Pteranodon in flight. That's simple enough to do. Yeah, so he does have some playability in this mode. But, of course, being a Cybertron toy, playability also comes from built-in gimmick. He's from the Jungle Planet, so we get this nice little green key with all kinds of claws and fangs and such around it. I quite like this design. We can insert the key into his backside, and not his butt, literally, it's backside. And with a push, we can flip out those green highlights to reveal blades. I really like how it comes almost to the tip of the nose. That way it kind of creates a trident shape. And this thing would be like frightening flying at you. Like this is just like stabby death so fast. And I think it's a very cool gimmick in that it activates 2 blade flip-outs at once, especially when you consider the wings do move up and down. So you also have a flapping motion if you want. But I love the Cyber Key gimmicks that activate 2 sides of the toy at once, like Starscream's Voyager had that too. Very, very cool. So, Beast Mode, I quite enjoy, aside from some strange proportion issues. We'll get to Robot Mode, and this is Cybertron. So, well, as far as Cybertron goes, not the most complicated transformation. We're already done with the main torso. If I can rotate this around. Interesting transformation for a Pteranodon, especially, with one of the legs becoming the head of the Beast Mode. The arms are pretty much standard Beast Wars style. We kind of straighten them out to create the Robot Mode arms. Yeah, so I will admit the interesting transformation kind of ends at how the legs work. Everything else is pretty typical. And that gives us Brimstone in his full robot mode. He's a lanky sort once you get him transformed. The proportions are a little bit odd, especially considering he doesn't do a whole lot with the wings. So you're pretty much looking at this very spindly, made of the Beast Mode's little limb thing, robot mode style. And you could take this or leave this. It's gonna depend on a lot of personal preference here. You can shift the shoulders up a little bit to give him a little bit better of a stance. I will lower the wings so the light can actually catch his robot mode head. There's nothing like too distinct or special about it aside from the 3 fins going all the way to the back. It's not a bad helmet design. You know, nothing terribly exciting, but I don't know, nothing offends me, so I'm a fan. I can accept it. We get the wings back up and actually show you. Yes, he is of the lanky sort. He is just I don't know. Like, Brimstone just kind of gives more creepy connotations as a name. So I'm more inclined to think this kind of helps in this like creepy, lanky, clawed and bladed look he has. The big issue is going to be the fact that his wings really don't do anything in this mode. You cannot fold them back. They don't collapse in any way, so they're just these big spires that hang off of his chest. But for the rest of it, everything kind of works out okay. I think the Beast Mode legs make pretty good arms, and big claws. You know, I do like that they're individually painted, so you do have a little bit of a weapon effect with them if you want. You can also see a little bit of asymmetry with the legs, because of course the head became one and the tail end became the other. You see a lot more detail molded into that leg now. Again, Cybertron loves this kind of detailing, and on the Beast figures they seem to really know how to work the wires to look like muscle tissue. You can see that on the thigh here. A little bit more orange is shown to highlight the toy a little bit more, and you can also see inside the chest, which was not as visible thanks to the head being in the way, but they've got these little marks individually painted across these grills, so it gives you a little bit of color variance there just to make them stand out, or in the case of the black, not really stand out. It's kind of a weird effect. But as you can see, it's a strangely proportioned toy, but I kind of like it. The thin waist is going to throw a few people off, I think. For articulation, we have a fully rotational neck, so that works out pretty well. Shoulders, fully ball jointed, though for maximum range, you're going to have to fold and mess with the wing in order to get it out of the way, because here, that's about as far as it goes up. So you need a little bit of help from that hinge. Ball jointed elbow, and we'll get back to the rest later. He would have a waist, but for some reason they decided that needed to ratchet in and clack in either that position or that position, and it doesn't work either way. So no waist articulation. Boo. Fully ball-jointed hips, which there's absolutely nothing around, so absolutely no hindrance there. A thigh swivel, as well as a 90-degree knee, and that's balanced on both sides. Just because they're different legs does not mean that they aren't equal as far as articulation goes. The hands are probably the best part about the toy, because thanks to them, you'll actually notice 1, 2, 3 points of articulation. The thumb, the center of the hand, and the fingers all individually hinge on their own. They kind of close up that far and open up as far as you saw in the beast mode. So, and on mine, aside from like, in fact, this toy's got some years on it now, still pretty tight. So, yeah, he can't hold a standard weapon like you would expect. There's no peg hole anywhere on his arm, but that pretty much handles whatever you're going to need for any kind of holding whatsoever. So that alone gives him a huge edge up on other deluxes. You know, any shape of the handle, any shape of the weapon, he's got you covered pretty good. Which helps because he does have quite a good bit of posability to him, and none of it is really hindered all that badly. So he actually does make some good use of his posability, and the accessory variations you can get make it so much better. Let's go ahead and give you the gimmick one more time, because the gimmick does work in both modes. Thank you, efficiency of Cybertron. It's a little bit stranger here. This is something that I think really works when the character is in mid-flight, kind of standing around and brawling it out this way. I don't think this works quite as well. Like, this would be kind of a giveaway if someone's just kind of running. Yeah, that's not gonna work in a combat situation. Maybe if you surprise somebody, like if you grab onto somebody, then hang on, I accidentally relocked it. Yeah, just grab onto somebody with a hand and off of their head. I'm a PG YouTube channel. Yeah. So what can we say about Cybertron Brimstone at the end of the day? Well, he's an oddly proportioned fellow in both modes, where he makes a very bulky Pteranodon, he makes a very lanky robot mode. The wings are probably going to be the sticking point in the robot mode, just because it makes it hard to display and really just doesn't add a whole lot. Like, I kind of feel like there's something amiss here that could have been fixed. You know, could they have been rotated to the back? Could they have folded up and not been in the way so much? We will never know, because that's where they chose to house all the gimmicks. So, it is what it is. And for what it is, I don't think it's a bad toy. I think it has enough advantages and a unique enough look to it, thanks to the strange color scheme, that it's more or less worth picking up if you're a fan of the Cybertron line. It's not one of the series' best, but I think it has some really strong advantages. Man, the individual, like the articulation in the hands, that alone opens up so much more that typical deluxe doesn't get to have. So, if you have the chance, I wouldn't call it an unworthy pickup. Though, I will admit there have been better Pteranodon toys done over the years, and better Cybertron toys, which I will eventually cover all of them at this rate, because it's still my favorite line, and, well, they just keep surprising.